You're watching Cell TV. Mystics and monks grew tired of the empire of monsters and colluded to create the Immortals, the mighty monster hunters. We are humans from a parallel reality. Our world was once a peaceful one until we were invaded by a vile empire. In the year 200 AD, a vile empire of monsters extended its power into our world. Their empire was vast and reached the edges of the entire Earth. Humans were traded as currency for these beasts. The empires of the time formed a coalition to defeat these monsters, but were defeated. And even after all the worldly empires fell, worldly rebellions continued to rise for 300 years. But they would always fall to monolithic beings. In the monster empire's hierarchy, the bigger the monster, the more authority they hold. And the rising human rebellions would usually meet with great success when defeating the lower level monsters. However, they would always be eradicated when the higher authority figure showed up. All hope seemed lost. Hope seemed unattainable, as for every great victory there was a massive loss. But we were born out of the chaos, a shining glimmer of hope to save humanity. We started as a secret group of mystics, monks, knights, warriors, soldiers, and even citizens. And we quietly spread across the world under the noses of the monsters that were imprisoning us. And we quietly began to hunt the higher-ups in this monster hierarchy for the next 2 years. In our world, day-to-day life, we were watched by higher-ups from the monster empire. To many people who tried to not kick the hornet's nest, they would look away when wrongdoings were happening against their fellow citizens and by the monster empire. Our situation was a very critical one, but thanks to our new secret formed alliance, we began to conduct experiments to evolve the human mind and the human body. On February 14th, in the year 501 AD, we successfully created the first immortal man. This man would bring great change for us and grand devastation for the monster empire. And over time in our world, he would fade into legend and myth. This man's name was Beowulf. In less than 1 month, Beowulf had found 4 of the major higher-up authority figures in the entire east section of the monster empire. Only 2 of the 4 great beasts ever spoke out of fear against him when they fatally wounded him, and he smirked as his fatal wounds closed up quickly. After he completely decimated the 4 beasts who overseen the entire east section of the monster empire, The lower level monsters that were left began to fight amongst each other and pay way less attention to the human inhabitants as they scrambled for power. This was a blessing to us as it made it very easy for us to hunt them. And by the middle of April, we had successfully taken back the entire eastern section. This powerful method we had discovered as a coalition became the savior of humanity in our world. There were thousands of monsters still left. However, since we were on top, they went into hiding. And over the course of a year, we had discovered the weaknesses of thousands of different kinds of monsters we captured. Meanwhile, the rest of the monster empire had zero clue what had happened, as many of the authoritative figures didn't spend much time communicating with one another. Or they didn't care what happened in a different section of their empire, as arrogance appeared to be a thing extended to more than just humanity. We did, however, suffer one unexpected loss, as Beowulf went missing at some point, and we were never able to locate him. On November 20th, 520 AD, we successfully converted from a coalition into an organization. Our name became Cell, spelt C-E-L, which also became an acronym which spelt out 3 words: Critical Escape Legion. Cell also represents the way in which we operate in different locations autonomously as separate groups, yet come together as a larger entity with a common goal. Each one of our locations on the map holds only 100 members of our organization, while enemy bases hold anywhere from 5 to 7,000 different kinds of monsters. As a careful precaution, each one of our bases is only known to the 100 agents that live there, as some monsters can be very cunning. For example, to recon, in the location that we recently freed, changelings keep being captured impersonating Cell agents. We will have to go into more detail later. Unfortunately, now we have no time left. It is becoming increasingly harder to train recon even from a distance through your PDA. Until next time, recon, stay vigilant.